Hello, hello.
Welcome.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Jean.
Thanks for joining. Happy
Hi,
Wednesday.
Christine.
Hi, how is everyone?
Really good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
How's everyone's week going? Thumbs up.
So far, so good.
Always good to be here.
The last official week of Autism Acceptance Month. Sad. I'm sure you've been really busy, Jeff.
Yeah, we've been busy. Just of course we had, we had the 20th anniversary event a few weeks ago, and then for the month of May, I've got a couple of events down in Florida. May I have an open house for the school that we're trying to open in Boca, and then I'm doing a multi-day speaking series on Hutchinson Island in June. So
Wow, congratulations,
schedule.
Jeff. That's
Thank you.
incredible. I'm so proud of you. What kind of school is this going to be in Boca?
it's called the Boca School for Autism, and it's part of a rebrand that we're doing with the Unicorn Foundation. So instead of becoming Unicorn, we're going to become the Boca Center for Autism. So
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yep.
Great, Jeff. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Well, let's go ahead, and we have most everyone here, so let's go ahead and get started and add people as they come in. Lupe is going to do our intro.
All right, well, welcome everyone. We're just going to go over a couple Zoom rules for anyone who's new. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We do recommend speaker view for presentation, and then video sharing is optional, but we like seeing everyone's smiling faces. And then if you have any questions or comments, you could type them in the chat. We like seeing that interaction with our speakers. And then at the end, we're going to have a short Q&A. So if you want to wait till then, you could ask your questions there. Also, if you're not comfortable with asking your questions yourself, you could type it in the chat, and then we'll be monitoring the chat for any questions. Here's a couple of Autism Tree updates. We offer 19 programs. 13 of them are in person, 3 are hybrid, and 3 are virtual. We're coming to an end for April, so we have 3 events this weekend. We have our virtual coding workshop happening on Saturday, April 29th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. We have our in-person Girls in STEM workshop happening also on Saturday, April 29th. It's going to be at the University of San Diego. Yes. San Diego is going to be a 2-hour workshop. It's going to include a campus tour after the activity. And then we're having our musical play group happening on Saturday, April 29th at 1 p.m. at the center. Oh my God.
Music Therapy Center for
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a long one. Thank you, Rebecca. And up to date, we have 504 impact videos on our Autism Tree YouTube channel. So subscribe today. And then we have 113 Lunch and Learns uploaded on that YouTube channel. So if you want to check out any of the previous ones, you're more than welcome to do so. And then actually, I'm gonna hand that over to Dana with more Autism Tree updates.
Thank you, Lupe.
Hold on, Dana. Lupe, can you stop sharing your screen for a second? There we go. Okay. Dana, I will spotlight you now. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I am so proud of our team. I want to really give some gratitude to Rebecca, who worked tireless with me for, I don't even know when we started working on the 20th. It took so much out of us. I feel like I'm still a little bit exhausted from doing that, and then working with the comedian Vicki Barbalak on that Sunday to do a fundraiser for us. But having said that, I want to thank each person on here for any support you gave us. Jeff flying out from Boston for our 20th anniversary was so meaningful. And we really want to thank you. And you had your wingman, your dad, with you, which always is just, we love being together with you. and having not just your support, but your heart, you know, the heartbeat with us is incredible. And I love, one of my favorite photos from the 20th anniversary event is you and your dad, and also Karen Wright pointing to the banners that Rebecca worked so tirelessly on that captures the history of Autism Tree. If you look at our 20-year gallery of photos, Karen Wright, who's usually here with us on the Lunch and Learns, and who's been instrumental with Jeff being a team for over 2 years on this platform that has become only more meaningful than less meaningful. That I can say to you. I see Lupe and Rebecca nodding with me, because you know, it's crazy, but even when we're exhausted, it's like, I really want to make sure we do the Lunch and Learn. And I know I missed for the first time the first quarter of the year because I was getting ready for the 20th event this year, but I really missed it. And then just on the pre-call with Rebecca and Lupe and our guest speaker, Rachel Kim, there's no way to exaggerate how critically important I think today's Lunch and Learn will be. I know our team is very much looking forward to it, knowing that this is an important resource that we'll have now, and just for the courage and integrity and, or I'd like to say beauty, that I see in Rachel Kim as a person. She inspires me, and I know she'll inspire you. And I'm counting you as a blessing today, Rachel, in an extra way. I had spoken with Garrett earlier, and I want to let you guys know he has not been as present as he wants on some things for the celebration, because he's in law school and he just took his first final today. And I just talked to him, and I was telling him about Rachel being our speaker, and he just said, "Thank you, Rachel." Like he's in a big fight on the front lines for autism, literally even taking his final, if you can believe that. There's one day he's going to have to come on and share it. I can't share his story for him, but paving the way for autism is no joke. And so anyone that's doing it has my absolute soul level love and respect. And I feel that in 20 years, there's not been a time in my memory where I feel like the heartbeat of Autism Tree is so strong and so focused on our why. And our why is opening every door we can for everyone that is neurodiverse, that is part of our Autism Tree family, whether you have autism, or you're supporting someone with autism, or you love someone with autism, or you just love our foundation, which we're blessed enough to have people that don't even have a family member with autism or aren't even married that love this community. And I'm always mind blown by that and grateful. So I think that's really what I'd like to say on a big picture level of Autism Tree, is just that even though our team is probably pretty exhausted, and I want to give Lupe a lot of gratitude for, I last Lunch and Learn last week said we had 10 up and coming events, and this week it said 3. So Lupe has been working tirelessly on those events. And I have to say, when I saw 10 was coming up, I thought, how are we doing this? We've all been running hard, including Lupe with the big events. So thank you, Lupe, for keeping everything going for our families during a time when we've been burning it really hard. And my last big picture note thing I want to share is thank you, Karen, for becoming our 12th bloomer, which is helping a family bloom. It's a program that we started in honor of Autism Tree's 20th anniversary. We launched it at our 20th anniversary. And it's basically $1,000 annually a year. And it's 100 that we're trying to have be in the special bloomers for Autism Tree's 20th anniversary. And I'm just really grateful. You're going to see on our social media, we're thanking each day our bloomers and letting you know who they are. And it's just going to be a special group in honor of our 20th. And so if you or you want to get someone to become a bloomer and help a family bloom, we'd absolutely have every intention to have 100 bloomers in honor of Autism Tree's 20th. So Thank you all. Thank you for being understanding if we're running a little low on energy, but where I'm running low on energy, I'm running extra on love. And I'm pouring that all out to you guys today. And extra on our speaker today, who, Rachel, you hold an absolutely special place in my heart. And I just want you to know that we're rolling out the red carpet for you. I've never said that on a lunch and learn today, but we're rolling it out for you. Thank you guys.
Rachel, I'm going to spotlight you.
Yeah, thank you so much for Dana, Rebecca, and Lupe for having me today. I'm so honored and so thankful to be given a chance to talk about my experiences with career and my late autism diagnosis. And before I talk about my careers and my late autism diagnosis journey, I would like to talk about the reason why I think it's important to discuss late autism diagnosis. And many people are misdiagnosed or undiagnosed, especially females. And over 75% of people received an ASD diagnosis after 8 years after their first mental health evaluation. And 25% of autistic children had symptoms of autism, but didn't have an autism diagnosis. And if people are aware of that autistic people are able to function like neurotypical people and that they could still receive an autism diagnosis as adults, there would be more chances for many people who have autistic traits but have not been diagnosed to receive a diagnosis and find the resources that they need to navigate their life better. And after receiving my autism diagnosis at the age of 26, I found that it had a significant positive impact on my life. And the diagnosis helped me to better understand my strengths and weaknesses, which in turn allowed me to make more informed choices about my career and job opportunities. And with a better understanding of my condition, I was able to seek out resources that I needed as an autistic adult. And overall, the diagnosis really helped me to navigate my life with more confidence. So I would like to talk about my late autism diagnosis journey. Growing up in Seoul, South Korea, I was immersed in a collectivist culture that placed a strong emphasis on group cohesion and community values rather than individualism. And this meant that there were social rules and social norms that I had to be aware of in order to survive. And in particular, even in school, if you acted or behaved outside of these social norms, there was a very real risk of being ostracized or bullied by your peers. And so I was aware of bullying and outcasting from a young age, and I tried as much as I can to be aware of these social dynamics and to carefully navigate them in order to avoid any negative consequences. And later in life, I came to realize that I had been engaging in a form of camouflaging and masking, trying to fit in with my peers and mimicking their behavior. And despite my efforts, however, I often felt like something was off, like I didn't quite belong. And this feeling was particularly acute during my elementary school years in Korea. I remember I was sitting in my classroom alone, and my classmates were just chattering to each other and playing together. And I felt a bit isolated and different because I was the only one that was not talking to any people in the classroom. And there was one incident that stands out in my memory. I found my notebook in the hallway one day, and I knew I had left my notebook in my locker. Now I know that, Now I know that this was likely a prank by some of my classmates, but at the time I couldn't understand why my notebook was in the hallway. And I didn't know someone put my notebook in the hallway. And this experience was just one example of how I tried to mask and to try to socialize well, but didn't work out very well. Sorry.
Okay, Rachel, take your time.
Okay. Next slide, please. So Korea is a very high context society like Latin and other Asian countries. And the information they share is very implicit. Sorry.
We love you, Rachel. Melissa said in the chat, thank you for opening up. Thank you for sharing us with us. You're doing amazing. This is Christine. You can take as much time as you need.
Our rank, okay, thank you so much. And in Asian cultures or Latin cultures, the rank, status, and hierarchy are so very important. And they share common history and background, and they have nuanced communication, and emotions are being transmitted, and it's difficult to enter into their society. And typically, Germanic or Scandinavian cultures are more low context, and the information is explicit, and the communication is more direct. And all of the information is integrated in the exchange, and exchanges are more direct and it's easy to enter. And because Korea was a high context society, this nunchi culture has developed. Next slide, please. So nunchi is a Korean concept signifying the subtle art and ability to listen and gauge others' moods. And it first appears in the 17th century, nunchi, meaning eye force and power. And it is the sensitivity to the atmosphere or mood of a situation, or the ability to quickly perceive and understand other people's feelings and respond appropriately. And there is this Korean saying, 사회생활의 반은 눈치에 달렸다, which means half of your social life depends on your 눈치. And as an autistic person, it takes more time to understand the social cues and nonverbal communication. But the Korean society expected me to have that ability. And thankfully, I had family members in America, and I was able to move to the States when I went to high school and college in America. And I still struggled with my social life even after I moved to the United States. But at first, I just thought it was because I'm new to the American culture and wasn't fluent in English. And when I got to college, I've seen so many different people. And one of my general education class, there was this one international student studying, and I heard her speaking English. And to be completely honest, her English was not very good. But she was able to make friends in class, and I saw her building friendships with the classmates. And I realized English being the second language was not the problem for my social life. So I was struggling with relationships with people and was searching for information about how to develop social skills. And during my search, I came across the term borderline intellectual disability, which made me wonder if I had a problem with my intelligence. And this caused me serious concern. So I tried taking IQ tests online several times, and the results were always over 100, which made me think I probably don't have the borderline intellectual disability. And I just thought that I was introverted and had social anxiety. And since intelligence didn't seem to be a big problem, I searched for ways to improve my social skills and maintain good relationships with people. And I searched for ways to And I came across this YouTube video about Asperger's. And when I watched the video, I found that many of the symptoms the YouTuber described were similar to what I was experiencing, but I tried to ignore it. And I wanted to believe that I was normal, and having a disorder like autism at the time seemed to me to be very far from normal by my standards and perspective. And I didn't look up about Asperger's again for a while. And in 2022, the word Asperger's came to mind again. So I started to look into autism symptoms and found many symptoms that matched with my own experiences. However, I still didn't want to accept that I had autism. I thought to myself, I'm not autistic. I just didn't have enough social experiences when I was younger, and that's why I was introverted. And I had several reasons why I thought I didn't have autism. I had some friends. While I did enjoy being alone, and I am sensitive to loud noises, but not to the extent where I need earplugs or headphones. And I'm more sensitive to quiet noises than loud noises. And I do enjoy following rules and routines, but I'm flexible enough that I don't have any compulsions about needing to do things at a certain time or specific ways. And I have never been deeply immersed in one specific subject or activity for years at a time. And my special interest will last just about months. And the autistic individuals I saw in the media were often portrayed as having repetitive behaviors or lacking intonation in their speech, and it did not apply to me as much. But deep down, I still had the nagging thought, what if I'm really autistic? And I kept telling myself that I wasn't. And I started looking for more information about autism to prove that I'm not autistic. And the more I searched for information on autism, the more I began to think I might have autism after all. And the reasons why I started to feel like I might have autism were female autism symptoms are different from male autism symptoms. And autistic girls tend to observe and mimic how people socialize, which is known as camouflaging. And throughout my school years, from elementary school to high school and college, I just observed how people my age behaved, and I just copied them. And sometimes I would prepare what I wanted to talk about or say to my friends, so I can have a conversation with them. And I tried to fit in throughout my school years. But I still had a difficult time understanding social cues. Even though American communication style is more direct, I still had a trouble understanding the meaning behind what people are saying. And I was often called weird or annoying during high school. And those words hurt me at the time, but I'm a really positive person actually. So I did not think much about the negative things that people said about me. And I got over it really quickly. And I found that a lot of the autistic girls also had an experience getting called weird or annoying. So, and I had a difficult time understanding the body language and nonverbal communication. And in Korean culture, when you talk to older people or teachers, there are times that you are not supposed to look them in the eye. And it was a kind of acceptable for many people to not make eye contact when you have conversation with older people. And so because of the cultural difference and because of the Korean culture that I was used to, my autism symptom was not very vivid, like very seen. So, but here in America, it's important to make eye contacts to show that you're actually really listening. So I realized after I came to America, I had a difficult time making eye contacts. And if I force myself to make eye contacts, I have to use a lot of energy. And what's interesting is that I noticed that I focus better on what the other person is saying when I'm not making eye contact. And for nonverbal communication, I didn't know until very recently that people actually cough to communicate nonverbally. I thought people just cough when they were just choking or when their throat was um, having ache, but people actually cough to send you some signal that I don't know. And sometimes I have selective mutism, and I used to take things very literally, and I had a difficult time understanding jokes. And when I watch American shows or any shows, I would observe how people interact with each other so that I can use their behavior or their speech when I have to interact with other people. And I actually told my counselor about this, and she said people actually don't normally watch shows to observe how people interact with each other. They just watch it for fun. So I think that's one thing that surprised me. And how I accepted my autism. So I joined meetup groups to meet people on the spectrum and listen to the experiences of other people on the spectrum. And I looked for positive aspects about autism. And there are observational skill, deep focus, creativity, tenacity, integrity, attention to detail, and accepting of difference. And I also looked up famous autistic people, Einstein, Elon Musk, Temple Grandin, Bill Gates, and Tim Burton. Not everyone here was diagnosed with autism, but they still showed autistic traits. And rather than being consumed by the belief that my lack of social skills due to my autism would make it difficult for me to succeed in society, I began to focus on finding the positive aspects of autism. And one major realization came from watching the movie Temple Grandin. And even if my social skills are behind, and if I'm really passionate about something that I truly care about, I believe that I can still thrive. So this realization gave me the belief that and confidence that I can achieve my goals in life and any challenges that can be caused by my autistic traits. Sorry. So I started receiving assessments for autism around last year in March 2022, and finally received an official diagnosis in May 2022. And for education and career, I wanted to go to nursing school, so I went to Fullerton College and transferred to Cal State Fullerton and graduated last year with a public health major. And now I'm currently working on my associate's degree in computer science and music at Fullerton College. And after my diagnosis, I learned that I think in patterns, and that showed me how I liked music since childhood. And my favorite subject in high school was math. And I remember I preferred just solving math problems than having to talk to people in class. And three distinct thought styles in people with autism. First is visual thinkers, and second is verbal specialists, and third is pattern thinkers. And thought styles in people with autism, for visual thinkers, they think in pictures and see things either in their mind or physically in order to process information. And they may have photographic memory, and they are the list of good jobs for visual thinkers, like computer programming, drafting, photography, or animal trainer. Yeah, those are some good jobs. And for verbal specialists, they are good at learning languages and have an affinity for words, literature, and speech, and often memorize things such as train timetables, routes, stories in alphabetical order, and software product codes. And they have areas of interest, history, geography, weather, and sports statistics. And parents and teachers can use these interests and talents as motivation for learning less interesting parts of academics. Some verbal logic thinkers exceptionally adept at learning many different foreign languages, but they tend to be poor at drawing and other visual thinking skills. And pattern thinkers, they think in patterns, and pattern thinking is more abstract form of visual thinking. Thoughts are in patterns instead of photorealistic pictures. And the weak areas is usually reading and writing composition. So this is how I found my career, because I was able to find that I am a pattern thinker, and they are usually interested in math and music more than any other subjects. And next slide, please. And these are the autism-friendly companies and workplaces. And Esprit Tech, Ultranuts, and Opticon are known as the companies that most employees are neurodivergent. And Microsoft's SAP, Dell are the companies that have neurodiverse hiring program. And there's coffee shops that hire autistic and neurodivergent people. And Able Coffee Roasters is in Fullerton and Newport Beach, California. And there's a Special Needs Coffee, which is in Ontario, and Beauty and Views Coffee, which is in Texas. And I think there are so many opportunities for neurodivergent people to have jobs and work in North America and other European countries. And as far as I know, there are coffee shops that hire people with disabilities in South Korea, but I have never seen software companies that hire mostly neurodivergent people. So I think there's always full of opportunities for people. And if you look and put in the effort, you will find great opportunities for neurodivergent people. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, Rachel. That was incredible. Thank you for being
I didn't know I was gonna cry. I'm so sorry.
it.
I don't know why I cried.
Yeah, you did so great. Everybody is like, you're amazing, Rachel. Sending hugs. You're doing a great job. Well said. You spoke so passionately and adequately. Like, just I'm so moved by everything that you said and shared, and I learned so much about South Korea and even autism, the 3 different styles of thinking, like all of that I think is so valuable. And you can really tell that, this was a long journey for you to accept this diagnosis. And I'm so proud of you. And you should be proud of yourself, definitely, because you navigated this a lot. I could tell on your own, just naturally. I mean, that's so much. I got to give you all that credit. You're amazing. And for those
Sorry, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just happy that I was able to share with you all. Yeah.
I'm so glad that to see you put all that effort and researching other autistic people who are successful and looking for the positive traits. That's what we do every single day at Autism Tree, and we create love for people with autism. And because that's what we're all about. You can thrive, and you're just a shining example of that, of getting your degree, navigating that new diagnosis, and being from another country. I'm just mind blown. Oh, Karen says, Rachel, thank you for being so generous with sharing your journey. You're a huge blessing and a gift to the world.
Thank you so much.
And then Jean said, well said, sending virtual hugs.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Jeff. He says, Rachel, I got to give you a lot of credit for doing this presentation. Great job.
Thank you.
We will definitely, this is so useful because I've had so many young adults and even sometimes parents themselves come forward and say, once my kid got diagnosed, then I wanted to pursue, they realized that something, was up with them and they wanted to look into getting an autism diagnosis. And we've really, Dana and I, during the pandemic, as you know, for the past year, you've sat on a lot of these lunch and learns. We have a lot of adults who have come to us that have gone diagnosed in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And you know, I just got to give you a lot of credit because when you're so young and you're doing it on your own, and that's just so impressive to me. And yeah, I don't know. I want to open it up to everybody to ask any questions you'd like. We will have Rachel, thank you for generously sharing this. We'll have oh great, we have a first question. We'll have Rachel's presentation shared, emailed to everybody who has also participated in this. All right, Sage, go ahead and unmute yourself. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, Rachel, and that was hugely relatable for me, and I did not expect I call it high bandwidth. Like when I first had my autistic therapist, I was like, oh my God, this is lightning speed data, as opposed to like, speaking with the general public. I just feel like that was so much just heartfelt information and intellectual information. So thank you. And also thanks to Autism Tree. I didn't know about you guys until this presentation. So thank you so much for hosting this. I have a similar story. I was actually born in the same place, and Rachel and I live like 5 minutes from each other. We never knew each other before like the meetup thing. I'm diagnosed, I was at 42, but I wanted to ask you, you came to the States when you're older, but I came when I was like 8 or 9. And I was interested in the part where you talked about when you first started to notice the discrepancy between yourself and also the social group. And I wanted to ask you what age you started to feel that. Because, yeah, because I have a number, but I just wanted to compare with yours.
Oh, I think I don't understand your question. Could you explain it again, please?
Yeah, you had mentioned that in elementary school, you started to notice some differences in how your peers were interacting, and that you started to feel a little outcast. And I was wondering what grade or what age you first noticed that.
Yeah, I started noticing that when I was in 6th grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So like,
before I think I had friends, but it was more like my friends were taking care of me. So from my perspective, I thought I had friends, but then looking back, I realized, oh, my friends were actually taking care of me, not like being really like building friendships. Yeah.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I started to see it, I think I was like 7-ish, and I didn't understand like why the connection wasn't there anymore. And I started to feel, yeah, very lonely. But I will open it for other people. Thank you so much again.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Sage, for joining. I think that's so amazing to hearing your story as well. And I can't believe that you and Rachel grew up so close to each other. What are the chances? Are you in San Diego, Sage, or are you in California? Or
Yeah, I'm in Fullerton, California.
okay, Fullerton.
Yeah, and Rachel is as well, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Anybody else that want to open it? We have some time for questions.
I know there's a chat from Ruth that says you're an inspiration for all of us who have younger children on the spectrum. Well done. You're amazing, Rachel.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely going to show this to a lot of people. I love it. A lot of new parents. I think it's great. So let's see. Rachel, what is I know you want to do computer programming. Is that what it is that you're looking to do now?
Yes, I'm interested in software engineering.
Okay, did you look into any, I know you did all that research on autism friendly companies and workplaces. Are you do you want to work for a workplace like that? Are you looking into applying for jobs with those people, or are you going to go another route?
I'm actually, after getting my associate's degree in computer science, I'm planning to apply to software companies that hire mostly neurodivergent people. So I'm looking at the 3 companies, Tech, Auticon, and Ultranuts. And if I don't know, I really want to get a job there, but if not, I think I can just work as a self-employed. So I think there's a lot of things that I can do with computer programming and coding.
Mhm. Definitely. It's a great career path for you. Sage says if there's time, she'd like to ask about the 3 types of thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it, Sage.
Thanks. Okay, so I was following along with your slide when you said that there was visual, verbal, and then I can't remember the third, but there was one slide where it said visual, spatial maybe, and it had like photography, programming, music.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the 3 types of thinking I put were verbal and visual and pattern.
Okay.
I'll pull up the slide in a sec. I think it's after him. There we go. Visual thinkers, verbal specialists, and pattern thinkers.
Was programming under visual?
Oh, yes, it was.
And also pattern. I think it's both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right here as well.
So cool. I would, yeah. Thanks for making this available. I'd love to read it later on.
Mhm. Yeah, was this from a specific book or anything?
Yes, it's actually from a source from Indiana University. And I think I can leave a link on the chat.
Yeah, that would be amazing. We can include it in the recap email.
Okay.
Perfect. Or even just type the name of the book in it and we can Google it.
Okay.
Ruth has a question. What was the process of getting into college? Was it difficult?
Actually, it was not very difficult for me because I didn't really think much about like the difficulties of going to college. I just thought that I had to go to college and get a degree. And that was just the goal that I just had coming to America. And I just had to do it. So I just didn't think about the difficulties.
Mhm. Did you excel in your classes most of the time?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you excel in your classes and get good grades most of the time?
Oh, I actually did not excel that much. It was not excelling, but I just did as much as I can.
Yeah. So applying to colleges, did you apply, like how did that process go for you? Did you apply to a lot of colleges? Did you apply to just a few?
I actually applied to a lot of universities when I was in senior year of high school, and I did not get in. And I just went to community college and started from there and transferred to Cal State Fullerton.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. All right. What advice would you offer to parents raising a neurodivergent child as far as offering support?
I think if I knew that I was autistic, I kind of wanted my parents to explain me the social norms and social rules, because no one really tells you like this social cue is this meaning, like this body language is this meaning. Like no one actually like teaches like verbally to people. But then autistic people, they don't really understand the body language and nonverbal communication. So I think it's really important to educate the meaning behind certain body language and nonverbal communication. So I think if I had that kind of education support from my parents, I think my life would have been much easier. Yeah.
Answer. Yeah. She says, thank you.
Thank you.
These are all great questions. Does anybody else have anything to share? Any comments? Did you live on campus?
No, I did not live on campus. I lived with my parents and I commuted.
Right. Did they help you in your like making college applications, or did you have SAT courses or any tutors?
Oh, yes, I had SAT tutors.
Okay.
Yeah, but my SAT score did not really help me getting into community. Yeah, so SAT score was not needed for community college, but I had SAT tutors.
That's great. So when you got to community college, it was pretty easy to transfer over.
Yes.
That's great. How did it feel to live, since you didn't live on campus? And I know you had struggled with, the social gaining friends, during that time. Did you feel like it would have been better if you lived on campus? Or do you think your experience would have been different?
I think my experience would have been really different if I lived on campus. I think I would have been able to develop my social skills better by interacting with more people. But at the same time, I feel like I might have been too tired interacting with people all the time. So I don't have any, I don't know, like I liked commuting from my house. So yeah.
No
But
regrets.
on campus.
No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets.
That's great. Yeah, Ruth says, do you drive? Do you drive?
Yes, yes, I drive.
So, and when did you learn how to drive?
Oh, I think I learned in my senior year in high school.
Okay.
At the end of my senior year.
She said, that's great. Yeah, it's really wonderful.
Rachel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
What was your level of difficulty learning to drive? Because a lot of, a large part of the autism community doesn't drive. So what kind of insight can you share with the experience for you?
Actually, I had a driving tutor as well. And I started driving from a very quiet place. And there were no cars around me. So I felt safer to drive with my tutor next to me. So I think having a tutor and also starting from a quiet place that you feel safe is definitely the factors that you might want to consider.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we have a lot of families, like obviously Autism Tree is located in San Diego, and we got to know you through your internship and being a virtual intern for us, which I have to bring light to everybody that Rachel was a key part of our daily operations for this full past year and helping us manage everything, adding events to our calendar, reaching out to families. You probably got a text from Rachel if you're one of our families. She was so active in creating flyers and all of the virtual day-to-day work that's so important for our team. And Rachel was always reliable and so great to work with. One of the easiest interns that I've ever had, because you actually communicated a lot better than a lot of our interns. And I think, I think because you're setting expectations and communicating, being straightforward and what tasks need to be done. You're so easy to work with and just a great hard worker and reliable. So I want to give you that credit. But I think I forgot where I'm going with this. Christine says, Rachel, I'm so inspired by you. Thank you for sharing your story. I remembered, so you have this experience, you're like a global person, you've come from South Korea, you're in California, and you have been for a long time, since you're 11. I love, and I'm curious about being, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. In California, in LA in particular, we're in San Diego, you're in LA. Do you have any resources in LA for maybe those families who are watching in LA County, or even anywhere else in California, or any other states? Because I know you've done a lot of research. So I'm just interested in if you have more lists of like resources that you want to share with, that you've heard of in LA specifically.
Oh, yeah. So actually, I wanted to get there is land meetup group. Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually have never heard about it, but I will check the land meetup group as well. And also, I actually wanted to get a diagnosis from UCLA Peers Group, and they actually don't diagnose adults on the spectrum. So I had to find, so they referred me to a center that diagnoses adults, autistic people, autistic adults people. And for peers group, they have social groups. I think it's like social education group that helps adults on the spectrum with their social life. And I think it's a great program that to develop your social skills and communication skills.
Is it a like classes that you take, like weekly or monthly? How does it work?
Yeah, I think it's weekly. I actually have never taken that course yet, but I think it's a great course that you can consider.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll research it and include it in the recap. And then thank you, Sage. She said LAND, which is available on meetup.com. LAND stands for Los Angeles Neurodiversity. Sage, I'd love for you to speak if you know a little bit more about it, what exactly it is.
It's a meetup group that I believe has been around for over 5 years, and it's led by someone named Raul Munoz, he's really a stand-up guy. He's autistic himself, and they organize support, little like chats like this, but it's a peer support thing, as well as a lot of outings to different autism-centered events and sort of these special educational or enjoyable type of in-person gatherings. But I think, yeah, everyone's available, allowed to join online. But yeah, they seem like very social, but also educational.
I love that. Thank you. Awesome. And how, if I may ask, which meetup did you guys meet at? Was it like a themed one or?
Yeah, there was actually 2 types of groups, and one was for autistic musicians, and the other one was just for Asperger's and autism group. we met at the autism group in,
Nice.
yeah, it was based in LA, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. And is it on Zoom or is it in person?
Yeah, it was in person.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun. I love that. That's so wonderful. Recommend meetups. I didn't even think of that. Of course. Awesome. Well, we're getting close to 1 o'clock. So does anybody have any last minute comments or anything they'd like to share with Rachel? Before we go, I definitely want to take a picture of everyone. If you'd be so generous in sharing your cameras, if you have a camera, we'd love to see your smiling faces. It's her tradition for us to take a picture with our guest speaker. Awesome. Yay. Okay. Ready? Big smiles. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Wonderful. Thank you so much again.
Rachel, stay on here with us. And I want to say thank you so much to everybody for being here too. And don't hang up, Rachel.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care, guys.
Beautiful day.
Great job, Rachel.